Hey y'all, it's Melissa. Welcome back to Twin Oaks Farm Poultry. Thanks for joining us. We're on day 9 of raising our flock of 304 Cornish rock cross meat chickens. So meat chickens can also be called broilers. Broilers basically just means any chicken that's specifically raised for meat. And these birds are a hybrid. So of course a hybrid is anytime we take different breeds and combine them with the goal of getting specific traits from the combination of those genetics. And so Cornish rock cross meat chickens are a hybrid, and the specific trait that we want in them is great feed to meat conversion, just meaning that they take the feed that we provide for them, eat it, use their energy to convert it into meat that we get from them when we process them into poultry. And so in our operation, we do that on about a 42-day schedule. So these birds can really be in a condition that we call finished and ready for production at 6 weeks old, even at 5 weeks old sometimes, but we stick to the same schedule every time. So a couple of facts on this flock. We started with 305. We have lost one. It was a runt, and just within a matter of a few days, less than a week, we could identify that that bird wasn't growing the way the other ones in the flock were growing and wasn't thriving, and then it wasn't very long and that bird had passed away of its own just natural causes, failure to thrive, basically. So that's part of it. So we're at 304 chicks. They are consuming a lot of food and a lot of water on a daily basis. They're consuming 24 gallons of water daily. So if you raise any kind of animal, of course you need to make sure that they have fresh water available at all times, because water is really the most essential nutrient. But especially if you're raising like a hybrid that is a high production type of livestock animal, like these Cornish rock cross broilers meat chickens are, they need a lot of water to sustain them and for them to be able to thrive and do what they do best, which is convert feed to meat. So they're, like I said, 304 chicks, small chicks, drinking 24 gallons of water daily. And here on day 9, we are on our 4th 50-pound bag of feed. So that means they have basically consumed nearly 200 pounds of feed by day 9. So really just in 8 days of eating, they've consumed almost 200 pounds of feed. They have feeder trays in their pen that we've filled twice today already and anticipate filling a third time. And if we have to fill them a third time, that will finish 200 pounds of feed that we've put into their pen. So something new in their pen is a larger waterer. I call it a big bird waterer, and they're smaller waterers that are intended for chicks, only hold a gallon. We've been using those, so you're going to see that. We're also going to look at how they're spread out across their pen, which is a brooder, and we remember that a brooder is just the pen that we start baby chicks in. And we call it a brooder because this beginning phase of their life tends to be referred to as the brooding phase. We brood the chicks. So we're going to look at how they're spaced out throughout the brooder and talk about temperature in their environment, temperature around them. We're also going to talk about, oh shoot, it went right out of my head. Oh, we were going to talk about uniformity across the flock. So I hope I can get those things in this video. So here is the flock. That's the important part, right? So feeders, y'all see the chick feeder trays, of course, and those, we have about 12 of those in here. Like I said, I've filled them twice already today. So when we're getting to the point where they're eating through those quickly, we start to consider putting in the bigger feeders. Just going to give you a glimpse of those. So the silver ones on the left are intended to sit on the ground or on risers on the ground. The plastic ones on the right can actually be hung from the ceiling or suspended. So you could do that if you use those. We don't hang them. We'll also keep those on risers sitting on the ground. But we're just about ready within 3 or 4 days, I'd say, to abandon the chick feeders and to get them into the big feeders, which is those. And so we're already testing that with the water dispensers. So here is what I call a big bird water dispenser, and you just saw a bird drinking out of it, and that's why that one is in there. It's kind of like a test one. We put it in there, we filled water in it, and we're watching to see that the birds will approach it and that the birds are able to drink out of it, that they can reach over the tray. So I've actually seen birds reach in and consume, as you're seeing now, and consume water out of it. And so the reason we're ready for those is because these hold a gallon and we're filling them 3 times a day. And that becomes tedious and time consuming. And the bigger water like that is just a solution that really helps us to streamline and manage the time and labor that it takes to make sure that they are well watered. So what I like about those is naturally, of course, they hold more. I am going to step in the brooder, which our brooder allows that. We can step in and work inside the brooder, as you can see there. But we're always really careful because they dart around quick and they're small and they can get under human feet. But here's what I like about these. You can take the lid off of it. I can bring a 5-gallon bucket over here and fill 5 gallons at one time. With those, I have to take them one at a time and I can only fill a gallon at a time. So I really like the big waters. I'm going to step back out of the brooder because it's just safer. So safer for them. So over the next couple days, the little bird water dispensers will go. We'll put big bird dispensers for water in, okay? So also, are the birds spread out across their brooder? In general, yes, they are. They're making good use of the entire brooder. There aren't a whole lot of dead spots where there just aren't birds. So this is basically telling us that the birds are really pretty comfortable with the temperature. It is about 80 degrees as we're recording, and we don't have any supplemental heat on because birds at this age basically want to be between 86 and 90 degrees. So with the temperature being 80, even in like an open air kind of structure, and then the body heat that they're producing, they're at a comfortable temperature. We did have all 5 supplemental heat lamps on until the temperature topped 75 degrees. So they were utilizing the heat lamps up until the time when the temperature around them was 75 degrees. And it actually ranged from about 55 degrees at 6:30 a.m. to that 75 degrees at around 3 p.m. So they're using the whole brooder. The other thing that we look for is, oh dear, we do keep our eyes open for this. We had one get behind the corner. Let's let him out, or her, as the case may be. We get straight run chicks, and I don't really pay attention until about week 3 to who is guys and who is girls, because we get however they're hatched, guys and girls. But that also lends to talking about uniformity of size across the flock. You know, I said we had one runt, so the obvious difference we noticed with the runt was that it was much smaller and didn't grow at the rate the others did. So even though we don't weigh our birds as a management practice, and it's great if you do, it's a great management practice, and it's a great thing to document across your flock over time. But even though we don't weigh them, we still visually assess all the time. Do the birds look like they're for the most part, as a flock, growing at a uniform rate? Because we do want to see that. So, and you see how they're utilizing the water standing up. We want that. I've got them using that one. We're utilizing the feeders for the most part standing up. We're going to have to add risers under feeders and waters to keep them lifting up to the height of the bird's back as we go. So let's take a look at our production board. If y'all have any questions at any time, please ask them. And I definitely want to mention the way that we brood the chicks and grow the birds and finish the broilers does not imply that that's the only way to do it. It's just the way that we've learned to do it with smaller flocks, that we found we could scale up to bigger flocks, and it still works. And that's why we do things the way that we do them, because it works for our resources and our setting and our structure. So you will probably find things that work specific to your situation if you're raising poultry, and that is great. We always say go with the things that really work to maximize your resources and help you. So here's a production board where we're tracking things about our flock. Just wanted to show you we added a bag of feed, and so the frequency we're opening feed bags up is increasing. And then we added a bag of bedding, and we're probably going to be extending this brooder over to here for them in the next 3 or